So let me give you a little background on my son. In 1984, he was born, a healthy boy, 9 pounds, 4 ounces. And my mother, when he was about a month old, she noticed his lips and fingernails were a little bluish. And we took him back to his delivering physician, and he checked his heart and said he was fine. And we did this 2 to 3 times. And finally the doctor said, I'll ease you parents' mind, and I'll set an appointment up in the city. And we lived in a small town called Raymond, and he made an appointment in Tacoma, Washington. And my mother and his mother took him to the doctor at that time because I was the only one working. So at that time, the doctors at Briggs looked at him and immediately rushed him to Children's Orthopedic Hospital in Seattle. And the doctors looked at him and planned to have surgery, open heart surgery, the following day. And the nurses was given the orders to leave him in an oxygen tent overnight. But the nurses took him out and he went into cardiac arrest, into a coma, and he suffered a lot of brain damage. So to make a long story short, he ended up in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. And as a father, I think that's where I really turned to alcoholism, because it really hurt me to have a son that was in a wheelchair. And all I really wanted to just watch him grow up and be able to watch him play football and baseball like I did, and go fishing with him, and I was unable to do that. But as I look back, I wouldn't change a thing. I would not change a thing, because I think the Lord did this for a reason, for me to slow down a little bit in life and reflect on what I have, not what I don't have. So when my son quit breathing in the hospital, he went into a coma, and the doctors came up to me and said that he was on life support, and they said they were gonna slowly start unplugging him. And I said some choice words to the doctor, and it was like my son heard me, and he snapped out of his coma, and he had open heart surgery 2 days later. And he had the surgery, and we were able to go home in about 2.5 months. And the doctors at that time, they gave my son, they said he'd probably live to be 21 years of age, and now he's 40. And I give all the glory to the Lord Jesus above for keeping him alive this long. And I know Brandon has a strong will to live. One of the most memorable moments of me and my son is when he graduated from Decatur here in Federal Way. His class graduated in the Tacoma Dome. And we were seated in our seats, and they turned off all the lights in the Tacoma Dome. It was completely dark. And we heard this motorcycle, vroom, vroom. And then they turned back on the lights, and here comes my son. He was the very first one they pushed out, and his school teacher pushed him out. And he was the first one to start the ceremony. So, they say grown men don't cry, but I could not stop the tears. They were just instantly streaming down my face. But that was one of the moments I'll never forget. So I'd like to say something to all the fathers out there on Father's Day, that be grateful and thankful for having your kids when they're able to walk and talk and do things with you. And I'm not putting myself in a pity pot, because I can't do that with my son, but I would give anything to be able to watch my son play football or baseball or go fishing with his dad or teach him to golf. That would be the highlight of my life.